What the world is watching and listening to.
سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Allahu Akbar!
Ding dong. Hello?
Yes, that's right, infidels. You found us here, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, where you get the most real talk, the best reviews of all your favorite wrestling shows from AEW and WWE, Impact, and more, because we're going to break it all down with the best staff in professional wrestling at HMG. So you don't need to go anywhere else, because there's no 5 stars here. There's only $5 face slaps, infidel.
Allahu Akbar!
So sign up today, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, and join the Hameen Army for the most real talk in professional wrestling. YOLO!
Hello, I'm Homeboy Shivani, and now the PWC, the Pro Wrestling Coalition, is on the air for the most exciting 2 hours of professional wrestling podcasting in the world. We're gonna put butts in seats and ears to the streets. And now, here are your hosts, Jimmy T and Christopher Ambs.
Hello everyone and welcome to the PWC Monday Night Machismo. I am your host Jimmy T, and my co-host, he is the OG member of the PWC. He is Mr. Chris Ambs. Welcome back to the Machismo. And what's the happening, man?
What's the haps, homie? Yeah, not a whole lot. I don't know why. I watched Raw this week, which is like the first time in honestly probably almost a year that I've watched Raw. So I'm kind of glad I did, though. That main event was fire. We can get into it later, but allow me to just do my own little intro since I know you always you always let me do it. Anyway, I am Christopher Ambs. That's AMBS, like lambs with no L, with bullshit first thing in the morning. Don't worry, everybody. If you ever forget how to spell my last name, I'll just remind you at the start of every fucking show I do.
That is perfect. That is perfect, bro. Man, what a week it's been in professional wrestling, let's be honest, right, Chris? I mean, we've had all sorts of sagas, firings, and heck, as of this morning, it seems that Ace Steel has been fired and released by AEW.
Shocker there. A true shocker there that Ace Steel has been let go. It's just a matter of time before Colt Cabana is rehired. Yay.
Oh, well, I don't think Colt Cabana has been fired, to be fair. He's just, languishing in Ring of Honor, dude.
Oh, yeah, right. It's because Ring of Honor is a thing. I keep forgetting about that.
Well, if you want to, and I use this term lightly, he technically is a Ring of Honor legend, so it makes sense, right?
Oh yeah, legend, just legend.
Oh boy, I know. It is what it is. And Jungle Boy, fuck, he's getting heat from everywhere, bro. I mean, from Eric Bischoff to you name it, everybody's giving him heat. I hope he gets fired somehow. I doubt it, but we'll see.
He doesn't. I mean, if you're running a company, why do you keep him around? For what?
I have no idea, because I wouldn't. That's the thing.
Don't say stuff like that, Lab Rat. You're making me angry already to start off. You're making me mad with comments like that. I swear to God.
Are you talking about this comment? The main event had nothing on Dynamite's main?
Yeah.
I know he's fucking around. And shout outs to the Lab Rat, who says, howdy Jimmy and Chris also. And look, he's in the house. It's
the Hammer.
Charles the Hammer Evans. Well, that's his kayfabe name, of course. What's up,
Kayfabe.
Charles, man? Thank you
Kayfabe.
for joining us. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, like I said, man, he was a machine back in the day. But, or should I say the Hammer? But, Chris, we're here to talk Raw, though. We're not here to talk AEW. I mean, is there any other news that maybe I've missed, Chris, that you know of?
Let me see. I had something on my notes for the skirmish. What else? AEW seem to be doing a really great job of selling tickets.
Did you see that, bro? The whole top end was fucking empty in Indiana.
Yeah, they're struggling. They've even got it set up for like 3,000 people in most of the arenas they're going to, and they're not even able to sell that. So, congratulations on everything, but let's try to be consistent here, guys. Instead of getting 81,000 people in one arena in one night, why don't we just stretch it out and get 5,000 people in an arena like all year long, right?
How do we go from 81? Oh, sorry. Wait, let me get that straight. 81,000 paying fans, right? Yeah. But get this, it was 90,000 allegedly in Wembley, right, including comps and whatnot. And then we went from that to All Out, only for all the fans to get the fuck out and not turn up in Indiana. So, it's just bizarre and weird, bro.
Yeah, they continue to struggle over here in America. And I don't blame anybody for not being terribly interested in what's happening right now. There's nothing going on there right now, especially since CM Punk is gone. There's nothing going on there that's terribly interesting. Like, what's the most interesting storyline that they have going on in AEW right now?
Probably the Joe MJF stuff. That's the only thing that's got me hyped, bro.
Okay, but do you think that Joe has any actual reasonable chance of beating MJF?
No, and that's what's sad, dude, because I actually want Joe to beat MJF, bro. And I love MJF, but I really so want Joe to win this match, man. And they're getting my hopes up, but I know deep down he's not going to win, and he's got no fucking chance. And that's what's frustrating, Chris.
Right. Whereas, okay, on the other side of things, the WWE has, they've hit kind of a snag, I think, in the Bloodline storyline, but they still have the Bloodline storyline going on. You've got Gunther, making a pretty good case for being Wrestler of the Year at this point. And breaking the Intercontinental Championship, longest reign ever. Right. Ever, Jimmy?
Ever. Legitly, though.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, these companies are not on equal footing right now in terms of their creative. Like, I've said it for a long time that AEW is easier to watch no matter what, but it's actually starting to turn for me. It's easier for me to watch WWE right now because I know I'm going to get better wrestling matches as long as guys like Gunther and Chad Gable are in prominent positions. And when I'm watching AEW, it's like, what am I getting promised? Well, I got promised tonight, yesterday night. Sorry, spoilers. It's Thursday. I got promised that I'm going to see Orange Cassidy every fucking week now on Wednesdays. That's what I'm getting promised. That's what they're promising to give me. Meanwhile, on WWE, they're promising to give me Gunther and Chad Gable.
All right, I mean, shit. And you know what's even more disappointing, dude? I thought Orange was going on a sabbatical right now, but I guess he's not.
Yeah, I guess not. So much for less Orange Cassidy, which would be a lot better.
AEW, the company that keeps on giving shit. Literally. I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, I won't lie. The Joe MJF stuff has got me hyped. But like you said, Chris, we know that Joe won't win, which is just asinine to me. I would have Joe absolutely munch MJF in that first match where he's taken by surprise. You know, he's got his neck issues, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Just run him over, man. I will say, but look, we'll save it for the skirmish anyway. And, yeah, we'll give our proper thoughts for that. And, yeah, but you know what, dude? Let's get into Monday Night Raw, shall we?
Let's do it.
And, we came from Charlotte, North Carolina, as a matter of fact. And, what do I feel like Charlotte or North Carolina in general, every company seems to be doing a show there. It just feels like I've seen this more than once recently. But anyway, it is what it is.
Well, North Carolina is a major, like, it's like a major spot for pro wrestling. There's a few towns and areas in the States that are major wrestling places, you know. North Carolina is a big one. Atlanta, the whole Florida territory is really big for wrestling still. You know, there's a few places that are just big with wrestling, and that's one of them. I mean, North Carolina is. There's a reason why they do that whole stupid thing with Kenny Omega, where he comes from Winnipeg, but he has a home in North Carolina. It's because that area is like a major, you know, hotbed for pro wrestling even now. So that's why.
Yeah, and still, even though Kenny does that, I don't understand what's the context with him. I know I technically do know why, but like. It just, I don't know, man. He's got to stop doing that all the time. He's from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Unless he's moved there.
It sounds cool to say North Carolina. I don't think there's anything more to it than just it sounds cool for whatever the ring announcer's name is to say North Carolina like that. And I don't think Kenny Omega needs anything deeper than that in order to do something or want something as a part of his whole gimmick. It's just, does it look cool? Does it sound cool? Then let's do it. Does it make sense? What the fuck does that mean? Does it look cool? That's all I care about.
Because it doesn't really make sense. But yeah, you know, you're right. Excuse me, I guess it is what it is. Fucking hell, why am I choking? God damn it, pal. I'm gonna get with it. Anyway, where were we? Back to Raw, though, because we start with Jey Uso. It's just me, Uso. What do you think of the remix, by the way?
It's fine, I guess. I think that I think that it's just as good as his brother's remix. It's whatever.
What was his brother's remix? I actually didn't fucking hear it. Is it different to his brother's remix?
Yeah, it's sort of like an Usos with the Roman Reigns, like epic music kind of a crossover thing. It's fine.
And speaking of the bloodline, before I do get into Jay, like, is this all done just for Cody to get to where he's at? You know, to face Roman eventually?
I really fucking hope not. I can't stand Cody Rhodes. I will maintain that until the day that I fucking die. But I don't know. We'll see. Again, like, I think that whoever ends this bloodline storyline has to have had something to do with the bloodline. Can't just be some guy from outside. I mean, that would be really uninteresting.
True, but I just feel like you know, they've messed shit up a little bit here with Jay. I don't know, man. It is what it is. But anyway, let's get into the first. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong remix. God damn it! I thought it was just me, Us. Knock it down like this. Yeah, but the wrong song. I didn't want that one, for crying out loud. I wanted the new one, which is why has it not come up, for crying out loud? I've been trying to find it. Anyway, who cares? Let's move on though, because yeah, we see Jey Uso enter through the crowd on his first night as a member of the Raw roster without his brother Jimmy. Jay gets on the mic and welcomes us to Monday Night Raw. He says he's only been gone for 2 to 3 weeks, but he misses us, and it felt a lot longer. He really hit a breaking point every week, fighting his family on national television like Family Feud. For real though. And then out of the blue, he got an unexpected call from Cody Rhodes. And now he's here on Raw by himself. And main event Jey Uso is now in your city. What do you think of that little interaction so far with just Jay? I mean, this still doesn't make sense to me. Because he quit WWE only for him to, like, you know, come back. Because Cody said so.
Yeah, I mean, did I miss an episode where Cody Rhodes became the general manager of Raw? I don't understand why Cody Rhodes is the one inviting him.
I have no fucking idea, bro. Well, look, I mean, they did say that he's, you know, that Cody Rhodes was an EVP once upon a time.
Yeah, he sure was.
The excuse. So apparently the power he had in AEW makes him have the power in WWE, supposedly.
Okay, sure. I don't care. Cody Rhodes sucks.
So what do you want to talk about? You know what's funny? Speaking of Cody Rhodes, do you remember his last promo in AEW, dude? By any chance?
No.
Where everyone was turning on him, all the AEW fans were like just booing the shit out of him. And he ripped a real passionate sort of promo.
I don't really remember it, but like I do remember him being like, you know, very stubborn about not turning heel in spite of the fact that the crowd in AEW couldn't fucking stand him.
Right.
On at least that level, I agree with the fans in AEW. Cody Rhodes is terrible.
Terrible. Well, he pretty much gives his reason, I think, for why he left AEW in that actual promo, funny enough. And he essentially does pretty much blame CM Punk in many ways, ironically.
Well, now we can go back to AEW. That'd be great. That would be, you know, if Cody Rhodes was like, you know what, I think that now that the problem is gone, I'm going to go back. That'd be great for me, because then I could just stop watching AEW entirely and just go back to watching big leagues. I thought that Mark Henry actually had a really, had the best fucking reaction to all this stuff with CM Punk, which is, you know, he was asked about it, and he, I thought, pretty cleverly said, well, I mean, hey, now the cancer's gone, right? Everything should be just perfect. Everything should be unicorn piss and clouds and everything should just be fucking hunky-dory in the locker room, right? We're not going to have any more problems in the locker room now that the cancer's gone, right? Right. So, yeah, I mean, shout out to Mark Henry for being kind of fucking brilliant and having the ability to, you know, kind of break somebody's legs without coming straight out and saying it. But it sounds to me like Mark Henry is not convinced that CM Punk was the problem in the company. So here we are.
Look, I do think that there'll be somewhat harmony without Punk right now with most guys. Because let's be honest, man. I mean, whether Punk is in the right or wrong, a lot of people didn't like him in AEW, bro. But Christopher Daniels did come out and say that everything that's been reported is not 100% true, especially when it comes to him. So I find that interesting. I don't know if he's going to come out and blab out about what really happened, but I'm just waiting to see what Punk comes out and says. And do you think, actually, before I continue on the segment, do you think there's a realistic chance that the WWE sign him up again?
A chance? Yeah. I mean, if the WWE looks at CM Punk and they think that they can get value out of him, you know, considering that he can be kind of a problem backstage and he definitely does rub some people the wrong way. But if they think we've got this idea for a program to run, and we think we can make millions and millions of dollars, and we think that we can stave off the big problems with Monday Night Football coming back and everything. If we go sign Phil, I think there's a chance. Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance.
Interesting. We'll see. I mean, look, man, it would really put a dagger in AEW. I'm not going to lie. If that was to happen and he comes out and just has a live mic, oh, shit. That's all I'm going to say, bro.
Yeah, imagine the opening night promo, right? CM Punk comes out and he says, listen, in 2014, I left, the pinnacle of professional wrestling, the major leagues, the place we're all trying to get to as professional wrestlers. I was in some other smaller companies, but now I'm back on top, the top of the mountain, the pinnacle of professional wrestling, back in the WWE. Like, CM Punk can really ruffle some feathers, and he ain't wrong either. I mean, the last numbers for Collision, they lost almost 80,000 people, like as soon as the announcement was made. So the 400 and something thousand people tuned in, and within 5 minutes, which was how long it took for Tony Khan to give his little fucking speech about why he fired CM Punk, 80,000 people ducked out. That's a big fucking jump, bro. That is a problem when you're only getting these kinds of numbers. If you were getting 3 million people, it's like, whatever. 80,000 people isn't going to fucking kill us. It's not going to murder our company. That is a big deal when you're looking at like 300,000. When that looks like that might be what you're getting moving forward, you cannot afford to lose that. You can't.
No doubt about it, bro. That's crazy, man. Didn't Rampage beat Collision in the ratings this week, which is fucking weird, bro.
I can't imagine the WB are happy with that. I really can't.
Or AEW, you mean? Yeah, that's fucking bananas. Anyway, let's continue on with the Raw segment, though, because after Jay was talking, we see Sami Zayn coming into the ring. He says it's pretty crazy to see Jay standing here, and one thing he said is definitely true. There are a lot of people in the locker room that will have a very big problem with him being here now. Why do I feel like this is a fucking rib to CM Punk and what happened in AEW?
Because it seems like everything's a rib to CM Punk and what happened in AEW. I mean, even the Samoa Joe thing,
right.
Yeah. And then what was it? Your countryman there, the really fucking annoying one.
Oh, Grayson Waller?
Grayson Waller had a tweet where he had a picture of himself after the pay-per-view, and he was like, Jey Uso just came into my locker room and punched me. He needs to get fired.
Yeah.
I was like...
Did he say that?
Yeah. It's like, bro...
He's funny, bro. Just saying that. Well, everyone's fucking ribbing CM Punk. I kind of feel bad for him now, man. This is definitely a rib. I mean, 100%, bro. There's no if or but about it. But anyway, this is about the two of them, though, he goes on to say. And he wanted to make sure he was the first person Jay saw so he could look him in his eyes. Why did I feel like I had the what do you call it? The Brent Thugs and Harmony song in my head as soon as I read that. Look into my eyes and tell me what it is you see. But that he's happy that he's here and he knows Jay, what's in his heart and what kind of guy he is. And he knows how hard the last couple of months had to be, but he did it. He broke free. And now he's standing here on his own 2 feet, becoming who he's always been in his heart. And now he's truly main event Jey Uso. He doesn't expect to be best buds overnight. He just wanted to tell him straight to his face that he's really proud of him, as Sami extends a hand and also puts his hands behind his back. After a long moment, Zayn says, whenever he's ready to talk, he'll be here. Jesus. Jay calls out to him as he goes through the rope and says, that wasn't very Usi of him, was it? And extends his hand as Sami comes in and they hug. Everyone goes bananas. And yeah, I guess we've got besties once again.
Yeah, hey, I mean, this is a continuation of like where they've been in this storyline, right? I saw some fucking idiots online being like, "Oh, they have no they have no storylines of their own. They have to go out and steal the MJF and Adam Cole stuff." And I'm like, "Are you fucking retarded? Like the bloodline's been going on since Adam Cole was still losing matches to Orange Cassidy. That's a ridiculous fucking thing to even say. And even if they were copying it, Sami Zayn and Jey Uso are going to do it better. Let's be real. So, yeah, I like this segment, and I like the direction that they're taking here. And yeah, I mean, I love Sami Zayn, I love Jey Uso, and I'm glad that they're a major focus of the wrestling program right now.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And in the chat, we've got a few things going on here. Labrat says, seems like AEW fans and company are only interested in big pay-per-view shows and not the TV show. Right now, yeah, I don't blame anyone, to be fair. I mean, Chris, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, even the pay-per-views, like I said, like All In, I'm legitimately congratulations to them for selling out that many tickets. It's incredible that they sold that many tickets. I'm never going to say, oh, who gives a shit? Like, that's a big deal to sell that many tickets to a wrestling show. Good for them. But I thought that creatively the pay-per-view was a pretty big letdown. And I thought that All Out was another pretty big letdown. I didn't even watch it, Jimmy. Like, people are like, the matches were so good. How can you say it wasn't a good pay-per-view? And I'm like, I've seen really good matches on house shows. Who fucking cares? The point of a pay-per-view is supposed to be the creative telling of stories or the pushing of stories. Like, the pay-per-views are meant to be extremely important moments is what pay-per-views are supposed to be. They're supposed to be the punctuation on a storyline. It's not supposed to be, you know, a series of good matches that had no build or were kind of thrown on the show. Like the fact that Kenny Omega and Takeshita, I suppose, finished their feud at All Out is like okay, but I didn't watch it and I didn't feel like I needed to. So if I didn't feel like I needed to watch it, that means you failed. That means you as a company failed because I'm here. I you know, I'm the kind of person who's willing to watch wrestling. I'll even pay for a pay-per-view if it's good enough. They have done a really piss poor job of doing that though. I mean, the last couple of shows. And if I don't care about the storylines, if I don't care where they're going, if I don't like the direction, if I don't feel like I'm going to get something out of it, why would I watch? Right now, it feels like the storylines that I could be interested in aren't in an interesting place and don't seem to be going anywhere interesting. MJF and Adam Cole, it might become interesting eventually, but right now I don't see any possibility. It's just they're going to have fun matches and they're going to do silly shit with the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know, it's like if somebody told me, you know, oh, you know what's happening with The Rock and with Mick Foley? They're the tag team champions. And I went, oh yeah, they're having another run. No, they're the FTW tag team champions, but they're defending it on Raw. I'd be like, why the fuck would I care?
Well, when you put it like that, that's true. I'll tell you what match you would have loved, though, actually, Chris, I think, is the Hobbs versus Miro match.
I've heard it was good, yeah, but again, the fucking crowd chanting meat or whatever is like, get the fuck out of here.
Do you blame them why they were chanting meat, bro? Because they were finally getting two big guys in a fucking match in AEW, dude.
It's incredible, right? It's almost as professional wrestling is partly, you know, cosmetic. And having big, strong men fight is like something that people actually care to see. That's a crazy thing to think, of course, Jimmy, you know, but yeah, people actually like big, strong men to be their professional wrestlers. It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy, bro. And that's why they were chanting that. They were like, finally, you know what I mean? We got a meat match. And you know what's funny? There was no flips. There was no bullshit. It was a straight up throwback to two big men. Right. And people still fucking loved it, dude. And that's what matters. You know what I mean? That match proved you didn't need to do fucking flippy this, flippy that to have a fucking good wrestling match because those two guys told the story in the ring and understood psychology, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you actually don't need to do flippy shit to have a good match. You really don't.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Anyway, Chris Willen also asked, with the American football season kicking off, all brands better step it. Writing and production-wise, the summer storylines have been dismal all round. We started off strong, Chris. And oh, great! I just got my phone. Just hang on a minute. I have to hang up on that. Forget that. I was on fucking hold for how long, dude? Just for them to answer the phone now. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, I know shit over an hour, dude. For real. I'm thinking maybe I can breeze through the show and then fucking, they won't answer. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, like back to Chris's question. Yeah, look, at first, I think at the start of the summer, it seemed promising with CM Punk and also with the Bloodline storyline. But then we went, pew, a nosedive, like big time towards the end of summer. And here we are. So, yeah, they do need to step up. Everyone needs to step up. Even WWE, I'm not gonna lie, because again, the Bloodline thing is a bit weird at the moment. But I guess they're trying to stall things right now to figure out where they're gonna go with this. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, they probably won't change anything though. I mean, do you see anything changing?
Well, I mean, the question is what could they change that would be interesting? I don't. I think one of the problems is that the people who they have who are interesting are in the least interesting possible storylines right now. MJF is a truly interesting character, right?
Right,
And
for sure.
him and Samoa Joe could be interesting, but they're not going to get everything out of it, and they don't seem willing to. They don't seem willing to wait properly, MJF
They
versus
just go
Samoa
straight
Joe.
in.
Yeah, MJF versus Samoa Joe could be really good if they actually milked it properly, but I don't have any faith in them doing that. And excuse me,
We've got another
with
tournament, Chris.
God, yeah, another fucking tournament. And I mean, the tournament is filled with amazing, incredible, top flight fucking professional wrestlers, just guys who you can definitely see holding the AEW championship right now, like Nick Wayne and Trent Beretta.
Well, what can I tell you, bro? You're right. I mean,
I'll let
it's
that
just-
sink in for you. Basically, what AEW has become is NXT, but just with more shittier, younger wrestlers who don't know what they're doing. Like that's what AEW has become. And as far as WWE goes, for instance, like on Raw, their world champion is Seth Rollins, right?
Sorry, say that again.
The world champion on Raw is Seth Rollins.
Right. Yes.
He's not interesting. Nothing about his character right now is interesting. Oh, my back hurts. My back hurts, but I'm fine, bro. I'm fine.
My back, my back.
Get fucked, Seth. It's not interesting. It's not fun. And I mean, people are going, oh, this is the most interesting I've ever seen Nakamura. And I'm like, if that's the truth, then Nakamura is a European champion. Like, he's not good. If this is the best you've ever seen of Nakamura.
That's not his fault. It's the best I've seen in WWE, except for his NXT run, of course. I like what I'm seeing with Nakamura, but we'll get to that segment shortly. I don't want to jump ahead, but we'll talk about it then, because next, Drew McIntyre makes his entrance as Jay leaves and they have a stare down on the ramp. Sammy comes back out to play Peacemaker and gets McIntyre to move along. And then we see fucking that goofball Matt Riddle making his entrance as well. And then, speaking of, we get a recap of Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura. But anyway, we next see Ricochet is backstage talking to Adam Pearce, saying he just needs to know what's next. But Pearce breaks away from him to ask Seth Rollins what he's doing here. Adam tells Seth he's not clear to even be in the building tonight, but Rollins says if he can walk, he can fight. As Ricochet walks over and says he saw their match and respects him for showing up on Raw after. Seth then takes it like a compliment, but Ricochet tells him he doesn't have to carry the whole show and endanger himself, because, Chris, why does Ricochet give a shit suddenly about Seth Rollins?
I don't know. I thought that maybe I missed where they had become real good friends or something. And I thought, I thought that maybe Ricochet and Seth had done some kind of videos together backstage, some
Bingo. Oh, I thought you were going to
Seth-
say a different type of video.
Seth giving him a thumbs up,
Yeah, thumbs up. I was going to say that. I mean, one was giving a thumbs up while the other one was flopping his thumb out, if you know what I mean. So maybe they did do some weird videos or something like that. But anyway, anything to say about the first segment though, Chris? Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Did you give a shit?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, I like Jay and I like Sammy, and I think that they have good chemistry together. Seeing them, have an embrace, and basically Sammy saying like, "Look, bro, like I'm proud of you. We can be, you and I can still be friends in spite of everything that happened." It's cool. I like Sami Zayn, and I like this character, and I like the way that they're building Jey Uso to be his own man now. That's cool. I also liked that people weren't just willing to forgive. I liked that Drew McIntyre came out and looked at him like, sure.
Even though he's a babyface, right?
Yeah, okay, you're a babyface now. That's good. I'm just supposed to ignore the fact that you cost me the world championship how many fucking times?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Or if you're Matt Riddle, you're just supposed to forget about the fact that this guy put you on the injured reserve list for 6 months. Like, no, you're not supposed to just forget it. And I like that. I like the little attention to detail. It's small, but details are important in professional wrestling.
No doubt about it, my man. No doubt about it. I just feel like we should call Jey Uso CM Uso from now on because he's navigating the waters. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's paranoid. He's paranoid. I mean, this just feels like one big rib. Like I said, I can't help it, dude. That's just what goes through my mind. Jey Uso is playing the part of CM Punk, and the locker room's all weary about him. Since when does a guy jump from Raw to SmackDown and whatnot, and vice versa? Since when does the locker room get all paranoid and shit?
I don't think that they're paranoid of him still being bad. I think it's like
the bloodline. I know.
I think it's like, okay, yeah, you're good now. That's great. You better come up with some serious fucking apologies though, because you fucked me over.
Right, for sure. Anyway, next we move on to the matchup, and get this, it's McRiddle, and yes, they even done I'm loving it joke, Chris, if you know what I mean.
Stupid.
I kid you not, 2 weeks ago, they were trying to come up with a name for McIntyre and Riddle together as a team. And it was funny, though. I won't lie, because he's like, Riddle goes, "How about McRiddle, bro?" And then McIntyre's like, I'm loving it. You know what I mean? Or vice versa, something like that. I'm like, McDonald's. So, yeah, the joke is on them. Anyway, it is McRiddle versus the Viking Raiders in Eric and Ivar in a tornado tag team match. Chris, I thought I would enjoy this match. I fucking hated it, bro. But the Raiders win by pinfall with a Ragnarok through a table on Matt Riddle as Kofi Kingston runs in. Vikings duck trouble in paradise, and Riddle eats it as Vikings fend McIntyre off in the 1, 2, 3, and it's done.
Yeah, I mean, good for the Viking Raiders. They need the win, and they're an actual tag team, and them winning a tag team match against two single stars who are kind of thrown together, that seems like basic professional wrestling to me, so good for them. Still, you've got two guys who are considered, Drew McIntyre is considered a main eventer, and Riddle's at least an upper mid card, like he's an intercontinental U.S. title kind of guy. So it made sense that they needed Kofi Kingston to come in and cost them the match, but we'll see where it goes.
A lot of paranoia running deep in WWE right now, including McIntyre and Kofi Kingston. Anyway, we get a hype reel of the Intercontinental Champions of days past, including Ultimate Warrior and the Honky Tonk Man, Pedro Morales, Tito Santana, and we go on and on. Anyway, but we see Seth, but next we see Seth Rollins making his entrance and soaks in the crowd singing his song. And so he gets on the mic and welcomes us to Monday Night Rollins, baby. I know you love his voice. Because the whole crowd start going, whoa, forever, because Chris is loving it. He's even doing it while watching his TV screen. Anyway, he says, Shinsuke Nakamura did everything he said he was going to do. Dropping bombs on his back all night long. And there were times when he didn't know if he was going to be able to continue the fight. But last he checked, he's still the world heavyweight champion. But at the end of the night, Nakamura was able to walk out of the building while he got pushed out on a wheelchair by his wife. And that doesn't sit right with him. He wants to right some wrongs tonight and calls Shinsuke out right now to make his dreams come true. As Nakamura then hangs back on the stage and Rollins says he knows there's only one way to get him down here, and that's to give him what he wants again, a World Heavyweight Championship rematch right here, right now, as Shin turns around and cleans his ear out and turns back and speaks Japanese. He's like, doing something like that. Seth says he won't pretend to understand, but he has to assume that Nakamura is accepting his challenge and calls him down for the match. But Shinsuke turns around and says, no. Seth has this confused look and asks if he wants the rematch, and Nakamura again tells him, no. As they shout, no, at each other a few times, and Rollins says that won't work for him, brother. Seth rushes him on the stage and they fight like cats until security and road agents swarm to pull them apart as Shinsuke is kicking away at Seth's back. And then we go to another break as Ricochet comes in and saves Seth, because suddenly he loves Seth Rollins and he gives a double thumbs up for Seth, and that brings us to our matchup between Ricochet and Nakamura.
They're real bosom buddies.
They are bosom buddies, no doubt.
Yeah, I thought this was dumb on a number of levels. Why would Nakamura say no?
I don't know.
Why would Nakamura say no? I don't want to have this match. And as far as like him cutting a promo in Japanese, I think it's fine, but you do need somebody there to translate. That's like, because they do that all the time in the UFC. They have champions often who are from Brazil or the Netherlands or Mexico or whatever. They'll cut their little promo after the match, and then somebody's there to translate. I mean, it's fine, but I need to know what Nakamura was even fucking saying. Other than, I
want my mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like a Spanish Triple H the way I said that.
Exactly, yeah.
I want my mask.
And as far as these two just yelling no back and forth at one another, that's not a main event angle. I don't know what this is, but that's not a main event angle. This isn't what you have your world championship surrounding. So not a great segment. Again, I at the risk of giving someone a shout out who's no longer a part of this, who's no longer a part of our PWC family.
You can mention him if you
Seth Rollins ruins everything. That's he's terrible.
No. Yes, you should say. No. Oh, look, man, I like Seth, but right now, Seth and Shinsuke right now, this was weird, bro. Like, and why would Nakamura say no to another World Heavyweight Championship match? I have no idea, bro. But instead, he'd rather wrestle fucking Ricochet. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he's still got to wrestle. Like, he has to wrestle tonight, right? He's scheduled for a match, so he has to wrestle. Yeah. I mean, why would you say no to that? Like, that's an opportunity. Why would you say no? He's never been world champion before. Why wouldn't he say yes? Of course, I want the title match. Like, I guess this is something that they're going to get back to, and it's going to make sense. But right now, it doesn't make sense. It's just silly.
It is silly, and I don't know who the fuck would have said, you go to the ring and you just say, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird, bro. But yeah, like you said, that leads us to Ricochet versus Nakamura. I didn't really care about this match, but regardless, Ricochet wins by disqualification, which is kind of weird also. But whatever. I mean, but Nakamura did kick the shit out of him.
Yeah, he did. I mean, Nakamura did Nakamura things, and Ricochet did exactly what Ricochet's been doing in WWE, which is take a shit kicking. So,
Yeah,
good for you, Prince Puma. Good for you.
Yeah, Prince Puma, exactly. Post-match, Nakamura continues the attack, throwing Ricochet in the ring and horse-collaring him around with the chair, looking for a Kinshasa, but Rollins makes the save and beats him down. Security swarms to pull them apart as Seth with a tope con giro to take the security out. Nakamura then throws him back first into the steel steps and beats him down. Ricochet makes the save with a steel chair, and then we see Judgment Day are watching backstage, and Rhea Ripley consoles Damian Priest that now isn't the time to cash the Money in the Bank contract in. Maybe it was the time.
Like, what do you mean it's not the time to cash in the Money in the Bank contract? The guy's clearly injured. He's talking about how he has a broken back, by the way. Not just he's got some fucking muscles or some tenderness or his back is a little stiff. He has a broken back in multiple different places. He just got thrown into the steps by a guy who didn't want to fucking have a match with him. And before that, the offense that he chose was to do a tope con hero with a broken back. I'm sorry. I don't believe you. I don't believe you that you're injured if your choice of offense is a tope con hero. That's not what you do if you have a broken back. That isn't what you do if your back is broken. That is absolutely fucking stupid.
Speaking of stupid, Labrat says in the chat, hey, that's a good Watto from Phantom Menace. Gee, come on, bro. God damn
I don't take Imperial credits.
Anyway, we see Zoe Stark.
Your Jedi mind trick doesn't work on me.
Zoe Stark is backstage, who's being interviewed. She says she has a lot of respect for Trish, and she taught her a lot, and she's the greatest of all time. But Hall of Famer or not, nobody pushes Zoe Stark point blank, as we see Shayna Baszler then rolling up. She said she's been wondering when Stark will ditch the dead weight, and Zoe says they have unfinished business and asks for a match tonight, as Baszler accepts and says she'll see her out there, as we see Judgment Day making their entrance. I would have these two women pair up as a tag team, because they'll be killers, bro.
They're both pretty impressive, and they might go in that direction. I mean, we'll get into it, but the end of the match was definitely, it didn't come across like these are two people who absolutely fucking hate each other. It came across like, hey, respect. So we'll see.
They're definitely planting seeds. Anyway, we see Judgment Day making their entrance. They get on the mic. Dominic Mysterio takes point, talking up their victories at Payback. Finn Balor then thanks Rhea Ripley for being a moderating influence and Damian Priest for being a true friend, even though the differences. JD McDonough also he gets thanks for helping out and himself for becoming a Grand Slam Finn.
Lord Farquaad?
Yeah, exactly. Don't even get me started. We'll get there in a moment. Rhea says her boys really rose to the occasion. I'm sure they did. And shows that they're really brothers and they're really a family. But there's one thing that's really aggravating her, actually, and that's the fact that the focus isn't on them and their accomplishments, but on Jey Uso coming to Raw. Priest then starts talking. Enter JD McDonough carrying something in a velvet bag. Damien tells him to wait because a small part of him was starting to actually like him, so his reason for being out here better be good. JD then says it is good, and he took a bullet for them, so the least they can do is let him come out and explain. He mentions how Rhea said that big changes are needed in Judgment Day and that the briefcase has to go. Damien steps forward and confronts him, and McDonough says, with all that gold, he doesn't need that briefcase. He needs the one he has, and he pulls out a purple briefcase that says, Senor, Money in the Bank on it, which kind of looked bluey to me, but whatever. It's purple, I guess. Priest is ecstatic about the gift, though, and enter Sami Zayn. He says they're all feeling pretty good about themselves, but after it took all 5 of them to rob them of their titles, did they really think they'd let that slide? They're bragging about all this, but when he looks in the ring, he doesn't see 5 champions. He sees 5 giant championship stealing turds. He says Dominic Mysterio is the biggest turd of them all. He deserves a special beating for costing him the titles. He challenges Dom to a match tonight, and JD McDonough then steps up to say he helped. And if he wanted to fight, he should fight him. And Sammy, like an idiot, goes, sure, I accept, because, forget Dom, I guess. And that's that. Are we seeing way too many promos in this fucking show, or is it just me? But JD McDonough, man, fucking, where are we going with this shit, man?
Yeah, well, to answer your first question, 3 hours to fill, right? It's a lot. It's a lot to fucking ask. So, yeah, JD McDonough. I don't know what the fuck to say about this guy anymore, man. He looks like Lord Farquaad. He's not interesting. He's very bland. He is exactly what Kevin Nash called, the vanilla midget.
Vanilla midget? Right, yeah.
He's not interesting. He can wrestle. That's fine. But that's all. Like he doesn't cut a good promo. I don't particularly care about what he's doing with the Judgment Day, and yeah, I would have much preferred to see Dominic Mysterio have a wrestling match with Sami Zayn. Why if I'm Sammy, why would I even accept to fight that shithead if I could have a match for the North American Championship? I'd be like, no, you little shit, you just got here. I'm like a multiple time intercontinental, former United States champion, former multiple time world tag team champion, and you didn't even win anything in NXT. No, I'm not fucking fighting you.
Right, but no, apparently everyone's got ADD.
Everybody just goes, okay, sure, yeah, okay, I'll take that match. But, like, that's really stupid.
Well, look who's in the house. Liz is in the house. Hey, guys. Hey, Liz.
What's up, Liz?
Cracking? Oh, and speaking of Liz, because she reminds me, did you butter your sandwiches, Liz? I know that sounds bad. But you know what I mean. I like to know. Actually, Chris, I want to ask you a question. And I guess you're part of the North American clique over here. So,
okay.
Is it true? And I just found this out, bro. But last week, I don't know if you caught the show. I think it was the Payback review or the All Out review. It was one or the other. Anyway, excuse me. I found out that Americans, particularly North Americans, don't butter their freaking sandwiches.
Okay.
Do you butter your sandwiches? And
No.
when I say sandwiches, I'm not talking about burgers.
No, I don't put butter on my sandwiches. I put mayonnaise on
Wow.
my sandwiches and
Oh
bacon
my
and
God.
cheese.
You
I
can
do a number of.
But you put butter first.
No, you don't
the
put
bread.
butter. Why would you put butter on it? Then your fucking
Oh my
sandwich is going
God.
to taste like butter.
No, my God. I just found this shit out recently, dude. And you know how I found out? It was an American girl that moved to Australia, right?
Yeah.
And, at first she thought, what the fuck? Why do Australians butter their sandwiches? But anyway, so she tried it, and she goes, oh my God, it was the best thing I ever did, right? Now, for us and the rest of the world, I kid you not, all over the world, other than North America, butter their damn sandwiches, bro.
Yeah, my grandparents used to do that. I think it's gross. I
Wow.
flat
Have you tried
out
it?
Of course I've tried it. Dude, my grandparents
Oh, okay.
used
You're
to do
lucky
it.
you tried it.
I fucking ate at my grandparents lots. My grandparents made me food all the time because they're my fucking grandparents. It's gross. Fucking put some
Wow.
mayonnaise on it, bro. What's the matter with you?
You can. You put mayonnaise, but you butter your bread, bro.
No, why would you want butter tasting bread on fucking sandwiches?
Oh my God.
I don't want to taste butter. I want to taste
Wow.
some nice spongy bread. I want to taste some fucking meat and whatever fucking condiments and
will.
everything else that I put on it. I don't want it
Excuse
to
me.
taste like butter.
But you will. And Labrat, first of all, I just want to say butter for grilled cheese only. What's wrong with you, Jimmy? Grilled cheese? No, you don't butter shit with grilled cheese.
What?
Just sandwiches. Look, D, even Chris doesn't butter his sandwiches. Can you believe that shit? I can't believe it. Labrat, man. I don't know if you put cheese on grilled cheese, butter on grilled cheese, but yeah, I wouldn't do that. But you butter your damn sandwiches. That drives me nuts.
How do
I
you
can't
keep the
believe it.
fucking grilled cheese together, like when you flip it, if it doesn't have butter on either side? What is the matter with you?
Yeah, but see, Liz, you're talking like that's kind of like a burger per se. When I say sandwiches, I'm talking like a Subway foot long.
Fried
know what I
chicken
mean.
on a biscuit is not. It is absolutely not a burger. It is
No,
a
it's
sandwich.
not. But yeah, but it's fried chicken. Like, yeah, I guess it is. I guess it can be still, right? And when she says biscuit, just for all our Australian listeners who might not want to understand what she means by biscuit, a biscuit is kind of like a dinner roll.
Yeah.
In the South, right? Especially, but all over America anyway. But you get my drift. It's technically like bread, but it's not exactly bread. But anyway, I just needed to explain that. But yeah, it drives me nuts, man. It was causing a whole rift in the chat. I can't believe it. You got to, man. But at least you've tried it, but you don't like it for whatever reason.
I don't. And a lot of places in Canada, like, because again, keep in mind, like, I'm from the middle of nowhere, right? So we're very backwards where I'm from. If you buy a sandwich, like at a restaurant, like if you buy a sandwich, not at a restaurant, but at like a convenience store, right?
Yeah.
So oftentimes they have that, but like a place where they make real sandwiches, not like fucking gas station food, where they actually make sandwiches and sell them. They will almost always have butter on them. Like still, and I hate it. It fucking drives me nuts.
Well, there you go. As they should. But I don't know how you don't like it. Liz also says you butter the outside of the bread to pan fry.
Because I have taste buds, Jimmy.
Bro, oh man. All right, do you know what margarine is?
No, I have no idea what margarine is. Get the fuck out of here, Jimmy. I know what margarine is.
I know, but we say butter, like even we call margarine butter.
Yeah, we do the same thing here. Yeah.
Yeah, because even though it's two different things per se, it's the same shit, but like one's harder than the other. When I say I'm talking about use margarine.
I know.
Like, right, yeah. Because it's soft and fluffy. But anyway, forget the sandwich debate. You guys are crazy. And let's go back to Raw. We see Gunther cutting a promo in German before switching to English. He says Chad Gable thinks he can stand in the way of his legacy, but his little fairy tale is temporary, and Gunther's legacy is forever. And after the final bell rings, he'll be the greatest and longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in the history, because he's a ring general. Right, Chris?
Absolutely. Go German.
Go Deutschland. Anyway, speaking of Germans,
Deutschland, über alles in der Welt.
Wunderwelt. We see another German by name, anyway, in Shayna Baszler making her entrance as we go to a break. And she wears German colors actually all the time, so she seems proud of her heritage. Labrat says Monday night sandwiches, yum. With fucking margarine, bro. Come on. Do Americans have what margarine is?
Yeah, they know. Of course, they know what margarine is.
Oh, fuck it. I don't know anymore, bro. I have no idea, dude.
Oh my god, bro! It's like you know what that reminds me of though is like when I go traveling, like if I go to the South or whatever, like because I used to go to Florida every year, right? So there'd be people down there, right? And they would ask the dumbest fucking shit in the world, bro.
About Canadians?
Like, yeah, it's like what's the they'd be like, do you guys have phones? I'm like, phones? What the fuck is the matter with you, man? Alexander Graham Bell was Canadian.
Wait, was that a real question, man? For real?
Like for real, people would ask shit like that, and I'm like, the fuck, man.
Why would they? What do they think you are, cavemen?
I guess, yeah. Or do you have a dog sled? I remember somebody asking me if I had a dog sled, and I'm like, get the
because
fuck
you're
out
Canadian.
Here. I have a dog sled.
Do they ask Northern Americans? When I say Northern Americans, I'm not talking about North America. I'm talking about Florida people asking people from the top of the states if they have fucking sleds.
Yeah, they don't ask. They don't ask anything. They do not care about anything. Like that's the one thing about the States is like they have it is like they have this like real love for not giving a shit about the rest of the world. And I find it hilarious. Honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, I find it sort of charming about most Americans that they just don't seem to care that much sometimes. It's like I don't care.
Well, technically, they are the center of the fucking universe, right? When you think about it. And, Americans are very much, into their own universe. You know what I'm saying? Until, people like us just pop in. And Liz, go, you can read this one, Chris.
Well, Lisbeth says, I always wanted to know if you really plug in your car, but I went to Canada in the middle of winter and it was so cold that Celsius and Fahrenheit met. That's at -40, by the way, Liz. -40 is where Celsius and Fahrenheit meet, and -40 is motherfucking cold. And yes, you do have to plug in your car because it'll freeze so badly that you won't be able to start it the next day.
Wait. What do you mean by plugging your car?
So in the winter, so if you open the hood of your car, basically every car is going to have the male end of a plug, an electric plug. Basically every car that's sold in North America has one of those. I don't know about Australia.
I don't think we do, bro.
You might not. There might not be a reason for it. But anyway, in North America, basically every car is going to have that. They have the male plug. It's like buried in by the lights, right? So you pull it out, and then you basically leave that just hanging on the outside of your car. So you close your,
and it's connected to a cord?
Well, no, it's just the plug, right? But the plug is connected to the car, right? And then you have to take a extension cord, plug it into the outside of your house, and then take the female end and plug it in.
Yeah, I get
so that your car is plugged in, because otherwise the block of your car will freeze. And I mean, you will not start your car.
So that defrosts the fucking block on the motor
The charge from plugging it in keeps the block warm enough that the liquid inside of it doesn't freeze.
Wow. I've never seen that. That's wow. Yeah, we don't have that. I like the sound of that though. But I'm in Australia, dude. We don't get these type of temperatures. I've never seen snow in my life, guys. Can you believe that shit? That's legit. I have never, ever seen snow in my life, and I would love to see snow. I just want to pick it up and throw it, but no.
Yeah, well,
unfortunately,
Lisbeth makes a pretty important comment. If you're planning on coming to Canada, she says it was miserable. Going to Canada for work in the middle of January and February sucked balls. Yes, January and February Canada is not fun. There's nothing fun about that. It is so. You know how, like in Australia, a bunch of stuff is trying to kill you at all times, right? Like out in nature, because you've got crocodiles and fucking venomous everything, right? Like everything is poisonous or venomous. It feels like you're gonna fucking everything's trying to kill you. So outside is trying to kill you in Canada in January and February. If you go outside dressed in shorts and a t-shirt in January or February, I'm always in shorts and a
t-shirt generally, bro.
Okay, if you go outside and stay outside in Canada in January and February, you can maybe stay outside for about a half hour before your body actually starts to get damaged. You'll get frostbite first, and within an hour or so, your body will start to die because nature is killing you because it's so cold. So don't go in January and February. It's not fun. There's nothing fun about Canada in January and February. Go at the beginning of December. Go in March. There's still lots of snow, but it ain't fucking trying to murder you outside.
Man, I've always wanted to experience those cold, Canadian winters, or even like a New York winter and whatnot, dude. But I reckon I'll freak out, dude. Only because, I love the cold. Don't get me wrong, but cold here, like today, it is bad weather, bro. It's probably the worst. Wait, to Australia or to Canada?
To Canada. I think he means he wants to mail her somewhere where nature is literally trying to murder you for 2 months out of the year.
Nature is always trying to kill you over here too, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah. Liz also says, hey, because I grew up in Texas, everyone thought I had an oil well in my backyard and rode a horse. You know what? I'm from Australia, and even I know that. I wouldn't even ask that. But do you have a well, actually, Liz? Nah. Well, you never know. And I didn't know you're from Texas, actually, originally. What made you go to where you are now? I don't want to say it, just in case. You know what
The
I mean?
stars at night are big and bright, deep in the
In the
heart of
heart of
Texas.
Texas. Yeehaw. Anyway, do you have a southern accent, Liz? Now I'm curious. I'm sure she probably does. But why'd you move to where you moved, though, Liz, from Texas to go to, you know where? What the hell? That's a bit of a move. Anyway, Labrat says no butter needed, Jimmy. Chris, does Jimmy offer to butter you? Oh, God. To butter your buns, Chris, apparently.
No, and if he did, I would not be part of the PWC.
Is bun buttering Timmy or Jimmy? Anyway, media, you're a weird cat, bro. Straight up. Liz says, my family's from here and my dad got transferred to Texas when I was little and then got transferred back. Oh. So did you stay in Texas for long? And did you stay long enough to, have your yeehaw accent?
Also, has anybody ever played Come Back to Texas by Bowling for Soup for you? Because that's a great song about Texas. I love Bowling for Soup. They're a fantastic band.
Bowling for Soup. Interesting name.
So good.
Yeah. She says, I have an odd accent and my southern comes back when I spend a long time with my bestie. Anyway.
All right, let's stop talking geography.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about Raw.
Hey, we always have to talk geography sometimes. Yeah, on the PWC. It's Shayna Baszler versus Zoe Stark. This match was kind of nothing. And it was quick. But Shayna Baszler wins by referee stoppage with the Kirifuda clutch. Anything to say here?
I liked it, actually. I'm a big fan of Shayna Baszler. She's one of my favorites, like, in all of wrestling. I love Shayna Baszler. I wish they would put more focus on her. Maybe this is the start of something where they can put some focus on her. Yeah, it's one of those situations where, like, I really don't understand why they don't too, because she ticks a lot of boxes for them, like a lot of boxes that they could push really hard, in terms of like she's part of the LGBTQ community, being bisexual.
Is she bi or is she full-blown lesbian?
She considers herself bisexual. I'm not sure what she's in a relationship with right now, but at least that's what I've always read from her, is that she considers herself bisexual. She might be different now. But she's also a minority, being part Aboriginal, like part Indian, as the kids don't say anymore. But
I know, right.
But yeah, like I think she's part Sioux, if I'm getting that right. So that's cool. There's lots of interesting things about her. I don't know why they don't push her more than they do. But I liked the match. I thought it was pretty good for a women's match that didn't have any heat to it. And I liked that at the end they both were like, "Hey, you did good." She said, "You gave me a better match than Ronda ever did," and and then Zoe said, "Well, you gave me a better fight than Trish did," or whatever. And it's like, all right, a little bit of respect between the two of them. They're both sort of the same type of tough, hard-nosed type wrestlers, so maybe they'll be a tag team. Although I personally think that the whole women's tag team division is a fucking mess and will always be a fucking mess. So,
which is a shame because they have a lot of good women wrestlers on their roster. Actually, they've got way too many, but they have a lot of trash in NXT though that they need to chop. Like, there's way too many women in NXT, man. Like, way too many. But Minion 5 says a good point, and it's true. Her lack of femininity holds her back.
Femininity.
Femininity. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I said... yeah, femininity. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, but I agree with that. She's not girly enough. You know what I'm saying? Like...
what's bad about that though? Like,
no. I don't. That's not my opinion. It's just I can see WWE kind of, holding her back because of that, possibly.
Yeah, I get it, but I wish they would move past it, because I actually think that they could get some money out of her. Like, I really think she's great.
Elizabeth thinks Shayna is great, and she's such a badass that could actually beat anyone on the roster for reals, which is probably another thing that's holding it back, actually, Chris. The fact is, like, you have to have her as a killer. The way they booked her in NXT, bro, was fucking brilliant. And that's exactly, hey, great minds think alike. Exactly. Yeah. We said that at the same time. As I said it, Labrat said it as well in the chat. But yeah, NXT, man, is where she was at, and she was a killer, bro.
Yeah. Good point by Media M5 too, who said Shayna doesn't need to be femme. She needs to break arms.
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep,
Just give me an absolutely fucking brutal, badass version of Shayna Baszler. I'm all for it, bro. All for it. Love Shayna. Love that girl. And you know, I've been a fan of Shayna Baszler since before she got into professional wrestling. When she was in the UFC, I remember watching her. This is gonna sound weird.
She wasn't that great though in MMA.
I remember watching her in the house. They had she was part of the Ultimate Fighter.
The Ultimate Fighter, right? Yeah.
One year, and I remember her personality very much, like her actual personality, really reminded me of my little sister. Like my little sister Brina, by the way. Hi Brina, love you.
Hi Brina.
But she's small and kind of mousy, like my little sister Brina, but she's also like a gigantic smartass. So like she'll just have like a funny fucking thing to say out of nowhere, and you won't expect it out of her because she's usually so small and mousy. That's kind of Shayna's like real life personality. So I've always been a big fan of Shayna Baszler as a human being. She seems like she'd be fun to hang out with, but also, yeah, when they book her as a badass, she's actually believable.
She was so good in Invicta though compared to UFC though, like back in the day.
Yeah.
But but Liz says in the chat it's only because she doesn't have eyebrows. If she did, she'd look more feminine. Yeah, I'd never noticed that actually, to be honest. Liz, good spot. I mean, you are a girl after all. Girls spot that shit. But
girls gonna see that shit.
Yeah, and Medium Foss says I've been a fan since she was in Invicta with Barnett. Yeah. Anyway, let's go back to Raw though, because post-match, Baszler tells Stark she put up a better fight than Ronda, like you said. And that was that. We see the Judgment Day next, hanging out backstage. And Finn Balor suggests bringing JD McDonough into the group officially. Damian Priest says he still doesn't quite trust him. Finn says they wouldn't be champions without him. As Dominic Mysterio says he's fine and with whatever they decide. And Rhea Ripley suggests seeing how he does against Sami Zayn first. Finn and Damian leave together, but Rhea holds Dom back and tells him she needs him to make sure everything with JD goes how she wants. And then we see Raquel Rodriguez makes her entrance and we go to the break. And then that leads us to Chelsea Green, the way they announce her, versus Raquel Rodriguez. I can't stand this big fucking Raquel Rodriguez, bro. I just don't. Her name should be Raquel. Cal, get it? But anyway, Raquel does win by pinfall with a one-armed power bomb. She kicked the shit out of Chelsea Green in this match, though, bro.
As she should. Again, like we're being consistent here and calling out, like, you know, tag team specialists don't have to get the win against single stars, especially if your single star just had a really competitive match for your world championship. The match was fine, I guess. Chelsea Green did her job. I do want to say too that the backstage segment with the Judgment Day that was just before this match was terrible. I love Rhea Ripley. Don't get me wrong. I mean, she's a star, and I think she's one of the best in the world. I think she might be the best in the world as far as women's wrestlers goes. But she fucked up about 4 times, and she only had like 6 lines. I mean, at first she said, "Well, we'll see how he does tonight against Finn."
She did fuck up. Sorry, bro.
I mean, against JD or against Sammy or whatever. It was like. And she did that at least 3 times. She had
even
6
in the
lines.
Ring.
She
in the ring, she
fucked
up too, right? With her promo. Yeah, it was odd, dude.
So,
I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about that.
You know, people keep saying like she should be the leader. She should be the leader. But like, if she can't cut a clear-cut promo, then no, she fucking shouldn't.
Well, to be fair, Chris, I've never heard a fuck up like that, dude. That was rare.
Well, it was. I mean, again, I haven't been watching Raw, so
Right.
maybe you're right, but I don't want to see it again.
Right. Yeah, that was odd, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That stood out to me too, man. And yeah, I found that very weird. Anyway, back to the Raquel segment as post-match we see Raquel getting on the mic and says she's getting her rematch against Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio will be barred from ringside. It'll be next week, by the way. Cool. Couldn't care less because she's just going to get trounced by Rhea Bloody Ripley. Anyway, anything to say about Raquel, Chris?
Not really. I really like her name, though.
Raquel Rodriguez?
My
She used to be
girlfriend's
Raquel
name is
Gonza-
Raquel, so
Oh,
I
true,
like it.
true.
But
Good-
it's a
point.
great first name. But other than that, I have nothing.
The best, right, Chris? The best.
I have no feelings about Raquel Rodriguez, to be honest with you.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I can't stand it, dude. I really
She's
can't
big
stand
and
it.
strong, but she doesn't work particularly well. She's not. She's
She
not.
can't work.
Yeah, she's big and strong, but she's not terribly impressive in spite of her back flex that she keeps doing. You know, like
big
China
deal.
looked like impressive, right? You saw China and you were like, Jesus fucking Christ, right? Like
Yeah.
that chick looks
It's
like a
true.
fucking man. That chick is a beast. Raquel Rodriguez is still like she's still kind
Feminine.
of pretty. Yeah, like she's
Right.
still kind of pretty. So she doesn't even look terribly big and strong. She just is. I don't know. To me, it's a miss with her every time. I just don't feel it. I don't feel like she quite can put it all together yet.
I don't think she knows who she is yet. Like, I don't think she realizes, like, for example, she's got no athleticism, in my opinion, bro. Like, have you seen the way she runs? And the way she runs the ropes too is just so wrong to me.
Right. Yeah. I feel like watching her do drop down drills would be pretty entertaining.
Oh
I
my
feel like she
God.
wouldn't do that very well.
She's just there because of her size. That's it. Otherwise, she fucking sucks. And really, I think she should still be in NXT.
Probably. I think a lot of people on the main roster should still be in NXT in terms of like needing more reps to be really good. But again, I feel like if you look at the WWE women's division and then you look at AEW's women's division, they are miles apart. Like I don't
Miles apart.
I
right.
don't even think Chris Statlander would be good enough for NXT TV, to be honest with you.
Oof, how fucking no. I mean, anyone that comes out of Creator Pro, other than MJF, it just sucks, bro. That's just me, but
Fair
yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Anywho, next we see Alpha Academy hanging out backstage, and Chad Gable says he had a lot of time to think about his accomplishments, and if Gunther thinks he doesn't belong in the history books, well, he's got some bad news. He already is, from the Olympics to winning a tag title. He gets to add to his legacy tonight and prove that he's more than just a tag team specialist, and that's that. Anything to say about Chad again?
Love Chad Gable. Like, really legitimately love Chad Gable. I have loved Chad Gable since NXT. I thought American Alpha was fucking fantastic.
Absolutely.
Probably my least favorite decision that anybody in WWE creative has made was when they broke up Alpha Academy. And also just, I mean, or American Alpha. And also just because I feel like being an asshole to everybody for that stupid fucking decision, I 100% believe that Jason Jordan would still be an active wrestler if they hadn't fucking broke up that tag team. I don't believe he would have gotten injured.
Possibly.
And I knew Chad Gable wasn't going to win this fucking match. Like, I knew he wasn't
course,
winning
right.
this goddamn match, but they got me. Like, they got me. I was watching this show and I was like, man, I love Chad Gable. I really want him to win. Like, I really legitimately want to see him win this match. I knew he wasn't going to, but it was like, man, but if, and if you can get me to start going, oh, but maybe if, then you've done a really good job doing professional wrestling, because I am not a person who has a tendency to believe, you know, I don't believe, we'll put it that way. I can't even call myself an atheist, because I believe that atheism requires faith in something not being there. I can't even muster the amount of faith it would take to say there's no God. That's how much I don't believe. So good job. Even with this little segment, it was great. I thought they did really good.
Yeah, look, I know you haven't been watching Raw until now, but they have been putting on some bangers like lately on Raw. And you know what? I do think in the end, Chad Gable will beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. As a matter of fact, he did have on Raw Talk, whatever the show that's after Raw, he did say he's going to win it this time, yeah, the next match they have. And I think because of the record with Honky Tonk Man, they obviously just gave it to Gunther this time. Because I think it's time for him to drop the belt and move on to bigger things. But we'll see. Like I said. Next, we see The Miz making his entrance. And yeah, Drew McIntyre then rolls up on Matt Riddle. But first, before we get back to that, but we see Miz rolling to the ring. Drew McIntyre rolls up on Matt Riddle and says he's going to keep an eye out on Jey Uso. And if he ruins things, he's going to go after the man that brought him here in Cody Rhodes. Kofi Kingston then rolls up to apologize. Riddle says it's cool, but Drew asks if it really is, citing that a week ago he hit Xavier Woods with an accidental chair, and this week Kofi accidentally kicks Matt Riddle in the face. He's going to keep an eye out for further accidents, as Kingston asks Riddle to keep his boy in check. This is so dumb.
It's getting dangerous there. It seems like Drew McIntyre might be fearing for his life.
Again, this feels eerily like CM Punk, but it's true. Anyway, Miz welcomes us to Miz TV and says his guest will shine a light on the travesty of Payback. He introduces his guest, a man who promises he'll be completely transparent, the greatest of all time, in John Cena. As Cena's music plays and the camera follows him like it normally would, but no one is there. Miz introduces John and berates him for messing up at Payback and screwing him over. His one-man show continues until he gets a confession, and then Cena refuses to leave. Excuse me, this is weird, bro. John shoves him, Miz takes his jacket off, and hits a skull-crushing finale on Super Cena, the invisible one from the video game, I assume. He challenges LA Knight to a one-on-one match. No special guest referee, no surprises and promises. The chance will end and Knight will fade away as we get a video package for tonight's main event, blah, blah, blah. What the hell was going on here? Why the fuck was the Miz wrestling a You Can't See Me version of John Cena? What the fuck is going on, man?
I've seen vastly differing opinions about this. Online, I've seen some people say that they really loved it. Lab Rat in the chat actually just said, okay, this was great. And I think that there's a lot of people whose opinions I respect a lot who have had that opinion about this segment. So maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just a matter of taste. I thought this was goofy as fuck, and I hated this shit. I think The Miz, when all is said and done, might legitimately be one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time. He's great at cutting a promo. I mean, he is really fucking fantastic. When he's got something to be fired up about, you really believe The Miz. I think back to that fucking promo that he had with Daniel Bryan on, was it Raw Talk or whatever? Talking Smack, whatever the fuck, right? The Smack Attack. No, I'm just kidding. Not the Smack Attack. That's ours. We do that.
Or the Friday Night Smack Talk.
Yeah. Anyway, I think back to that, and I think Miz is really great. And this was a really good example of him being able to basically do the whole segment by himself. That's cool. But this isn't for me. I mean, giving somebody the fucking skull crushing finale, Vince McMahon wrestling God. I just
that was funny.
To me, That shit belongs in the same bin as in garbage can. It belongs in the same fucking bin as Kenny Omega wrestling a blow-up doll, or Kenny Omega wrestling a 14-year-old girl, or Kenny Omega doing any number of other stupid things that Kenny Omega has done.
Kenny Omega sticking his hands up a guy's backside? Have you seen that?
All of that shit belongs in the fucking bin with this. I don't like it at all. And I'm not saying it's not good, because different people have different tastes, but for me, no.
That makes two of us, bro. I fucking hated this. Straight up. I don't want to see wrestlers wrestling nobody. I'm sorry. It's just not for me. Sorry, Labrat. You might have liked it, and that's cool. I mean, everyone's got different tastes, man, but it's just not for us. Look, he's in the house. It is Todd Brantley.
What's
the
up,
Comic
Todd?
King. Hey, y'all. What's crack-a-lackin'? Hence why the Benny Hill music. Because that's what this shit was for me. It was Benny Hill shit. Anyway, let's move on from that, though. Because next, we see Jey Uso running into Akira Tozawa, who runs away from him. Fucking hell. Ugh. Whatever, cool. Anyway, he meets Adam Pearce. He says it's going to get worse before it gets better, because SmackDown's going to get somebody from Raw in return for him, and that might make somebody angry. And then ironically, we see Tommaso Ciampa rolling up to talk, and he and Pearce go into Adam's office. Now, if this is a trade for Ciampa to go one way and Jey Uso coming to Raw, well, Raw definitely won this trade.
I mean, unless they're planning on doing something like going back to basics with Tommaso, I
doubt it.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen much of Tommaso Ciampa's run on the main roster, and I feel like I still have high hopes for Tommaso Ciampa because I haven't seen anything he's done on the main roster.
Well,
because
you're lucky then.
NXT Tommaso Ciampa would be a perfect fit for a mid-card championship scene. Put him in the Intercontinental Championship title scene. Put him in the U.S. title scene. He'd be great there. That would be a fantastic place for Tommaso Ciampa, who I still think is a really, really talented professional wrestler.
Look, he did get a big win the week before over Jonah. What's his name?
Jonah Rock?
Yeah, but what's his WWE fucking name? I forgot already.
I don't know. Fat fuck.
Yeah, anyway, Jonah Rock, right? You guys know who I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. Bronson Reed.
Fat fuck McPauley, yeah.
Bronson Reed was getting a good little run until Ciampa picked him up and done his finisher on him. That killed him for me. We didn't even see Bronson on this show after that, ironically. So, I don't know, man. They do a lot of start and stopping with Ciampa. But to be fair, Ciampa seems always injured, bro.
He is injured a lot,
know,
yeah. I mean, you can't separate that. When you get to the main roster, you do have to stay healthy. Like, to me, again, if I'm looking at the past 20 years or so, one of the biggest misses for me is that Wade Barrett wasn't a bigger star. But Wade Barrett had a tendency to get hot and then get injured right when they were starting to heat him up. So
it's true, man.
You can't separate it. And you can't be too harsh on the fucking company for not pulling the trigger on a guy who they don't feel they can trust to stay healthy. Right? Because
I totally understand that, right?
Like if we had somebody who came up to us and was like, yeah, I want to join the PWC, and he was really good at podcasting, right? Just great, entertaining, all that other kind of stuff. But he just kept disappearing on us for weeks at a time. Oh, hang on a second. That's Jimmy. Never mind. I'm describing Jimmy.
You fucking asshole. Anyway, yeah, I get you. I get it. But, yeah, look, man. The thing is, look, injuries are injuries. There's nothing much you can do about it. But like you said, you're right. Unfortunately, with WWE, if you're injury prone, they'll fucking release your ass if they can't do nothing with you, man.
Yeah.
And that's,
well, and what are they going to do with you if you're fucking injured all the time?
Well,
it's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
What, you're going to come around, you're going to have a couple of matches, you're going to get people excited, they're going to want to see you, and then you're going to get injured again. Well, like, what's the fucking point? We can't book anything with you.
No, I understand that, but it sucks. It sucked to get fired that way, but it is what it is. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. And again, like, to me, like, Wade Barrett was he was a world champion all set. That guy could have been a multiple-time world champion. Nobody would have said it was bad, but Yeah.
Yeah, that's life, right? Well, next we have JD McDonough versus Sami Zayn, and Chris, I'm not gonna lie, I was fading in and out of consciousness in this match.
Yeah.
And not because of Sami Zayn, only because of JD McDonough. But thank God this match wasn't really long. But for whatever reason, McDonough wins by pinfall with a schoolboy and a handful of tights. Why? I have no fucking idea. But what do you think of the match?
Well, I mean, the reason why they had to have him win is because he's playing this role of like,
I
are they
get
going to
that,
let him
yeah.
in? Are they not? He's got to do well in order to get in to the Judgment Day. Or if he does well and they still don't let him in the Judgment Day, that'll be a reason for Finn to start some dissension in the ranks and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of stuff there that they're doing, and they needed him to get a win. They needed him to do something impressive. I don't think they needed him to beat Sami Zayn, even though there was nothing clean about it. I mean, there was outside interference, there was the tight pull, etc. But yeah, the guy he's so small and his head is so big, and
So
I just
big.
can't. I just can't with that fucking guy. There are some people that I just fucking can't with. I just fucking can't with that guy.
Oh boy, his head's fucking huge, Chris. It's massive, man. And I can't get my head around. He's got a weird square sort of head. Like his head's got to weigh way more than his body, bro. I don't know,
Bro,
man, but
like you know what it kind of looks like to me is like when my kids, like my 6-year-old, my 8-year-old, when they come with me on the quad or when they come with me on the dirt bike or whatever, and I put the helmet on their head and it just looks, they're just like doing this every time they go anywhere because their heads are like too fucking heavy. That's what it looks like with JD McDonough. I just fucking can't with that guy. I don't care how good he is. He could be the best fucking technical wrestler of all time, and he's not, but he could be, and I would still just be like, I fucking can't with this guy.
I'm just surprised that WWE would actually fucking hire someone like him, bro.
I feel like a lot of it was to do with like he's fine for a cruiserweight. He's fine as far as like going out and working. He doesn't seem terribly injury prone, and I think that a big part of why they have him is like, where's he from?
Well, Ireland, the same actual place.
He's from the exact same town as Finn Balor. That's why he's there. So,
and he trained him obviously, but as we know, but but he also trained Becky Lynch. Ironically, I'm talking about Finn. So at least he got something right, right? I guess there's so many Irish wrestlers nowadays, man. But not
don't say there's too many Irish wrestlers, motherfucker. Aaron, go bra, bitches.
Well, anyway, post-match, Zayn hits an exploder in the corner on Dom, lining him up, but McDonough pulls him out of the ring and puts him into the post, helping Mysterio up and telling him to leave. JD turns around into the corner, exploder. Sammy lines him up, and we get a haluva kick, and that's that. It's the end of it. But as we come back from commercial, though, we see another backstage segment, this time with Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough running into the Judgment Day, and Damien congratulates JD on an impressive win. Finn Balor wants to get rolling, but Dom peels off to talk to Jey Uso standing nearby. He says they both come from messed up families. This is funny. With the Hall of Fame fathers, and he gets how it really is. He says he has the tightest family now, and he knows what he's going through, and also he's a little skeptical. But Mysterio keeps trying to sell him on Judgment Day and just asks him to think about it. So I guess we're going to have Jey Uso interjecting in his Sami Zayn Judgment Day kind of feud. But you know what? To Jay's credit, he sells it kind of like he's thinking about it. And then he gets those weird, that crackhead that, from Don't Be a Menace to South Central, what's his name? What's the comedian's name again, bro? I don't know why I go blank, man, on fucking live shows sometimes when it should be Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
remember? I'll suck your dick, man, for a cheeseburger.
I'll suck your dick, man.
Yeah, you know how he's doing that? That's what Jey Uso reminds me of. Like when he gets that Tourette's sort of look, he's like,
he starts to look a little crazy. Yeah, but
yeah.
It's part of the character. I get it. It's cool.
And he's almost like a beat up dog that doesn't trust any new owner. Bro.
That's exactly what he's playing at. Yeah,
right,
I mean, and you would be, right? Like if your cousin had beaten the shit out of you multiple times in order to teach you a lesson, like you would think that like love and family and all that kind of stuff were kind of fucked up and you weren't sure if you could trust it or not. Like I like as somebody who's been involved in social work for like a decade, like I've seen people like that who really
Like
can't
that?
trust love or family. Yeah, people who
That
are
I
really like
understand. But acting like a fucking dog, like essentially, I mean,
I've seen it. I've seen it and more often than you'd think.
wow, interesting.
Yeah.
My sister was also a social worker, right? She's not anymore. You know why?
Why?
Because my sister's got a temper, bro. Like, I mean, fucking bad. You know, obviously you don't get along with everybody and you're going to get troublemakers, right? Well, someone got smart. She started hitting the dude. And essentially, yeah, bro. So, yeah, there's her fucking social career down the drain. But anyway,
Yeah, that'll get you your
social
walking
working career.
papers.
I'm like, are you fucked or what? Shout outs to my sister Kelly. But anyway,
Shout
yeah.
outs, Kelly. What's up?
What's up? I'm 12 years older than her, bro. So she's literally my baby sister, man.
Ah,
Like,
she's a little. She's the little sister, like Brina for me. She's a baby.
literally the baby, bro. I remember when she was born, I had her in my arms. Fucking weird. Anyway, he goes, Todd Brown says, sorry, I've been following my fantasy football team, so I haven't been paying attention. That's fine, Todd. As long as you're tuning in, that's all that matters. You can always check us out afterwards.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go to the main event, shall we, Chris? It is Chad Gable versus Gunther for your WWE Intercontinental Championship. And dude, where do I start? I mean, this match, it was too good for television, man. I mean, it starts off with a side headlock into a takeover. Gable does a lot of reversals and an ankle pick and forces him into the ropes. I mean, we had everything. I mean, I probably shouldn't go hold for hold, but in some ways I kind of want to. But nevertheless, this match, I mean, like I said, it was too good for television. Gunther does win by pinfall via a lariat, retaining, and that was a killer lariat, bro. He took his head off to retain his WWE Intercontinental Championship and ensuring that he will set a new record for longest reign with that title, beating the Honky Tonk Man's 454-day reign, Chris.
Yeah, bro. It's this match, like you said, we were spoiled tonight. Like, I mean, we
Yeah.
were absolutely spoiled on this night. And this is why I tuned into Raw, right? Like, you know, I don't watch Raw, but I saw, okay, we're gonna get Chad Gable versus Gunther in the main event for Raw. And I thought, okay, that's cool. I'll read about it later, or I'll watch some highlights or whatever, right? Because I like those guys, but I don't like those guys enough to watch 3 hours of Raw. I'm not fucking watching it. And then I saw a
Right.
few more videos, and I saw that Chad Gable had brought his wife and his kids, and I was
Oh,
like,
God.
ah, fuck it. All right, I gotta watch this fucking Raw. I gotta
I
watch
felt bad
3
for his
hours
kids,
of
bro.
goddamn wrestling. And
Right, I know.
man, did they ever deliver? This was a really great main event, and yeah, the finish was brutal. Fucking Gunther hit him with like, it was like, you know, when you're playing 2K and somebody's got 3 finishers fucking saved up,
Yeah.
and they just
Oh,
hit
fuck.
all 3 finishers. He hit him with that. He does the I don't even know what it's called. See, this is why I could never be a fucking I could never do commentary for
Commentator?
pro
Right,
wrestling.
yeah.
The move where he does like the sleeper hold and then he fucking throws him backwards on his fucking head.
I
From
have no
that-
idea what that is, but he landed on his fucking head, bro. That's like an
Brutal.
inverted suplex of some sort.
Brutal fucking spot. He hit him with that, picked him up, hit him with the power bomb, picked him up, hit him with the fucking lariat. It was like, shit. Holy fuck. You're trying to
Man.
murder this man in front of his children. What a match. Great finish. Good for Gunther, who honestly, I think he's got a really, really good argument for Wrestler of the Year right now. Name
easily.
something that he's done that hasn't been super high quality. Name me one
Right.
fucking thing he's done that you didn't go, yeah, that was fucking good.
You know what? He's definitely MVP for WWE this year, easily.
And Chad Gable,
In terms of in ring, that is.
and Chad Gable, man, you talk about elevating yourself with a loss. This was that. Like, really though. Like, if I'm Otis, I'm worried that I'm not in the plans moving forward because Chad Gable doesn't need Otis. And if they want him to become a bigger star, and I think they should, He's got to get away from Otis. He's got to get away from the tag team wrestling. He needs to be a serious singles threat. And you showed tonight that he can be even in the land of the giants, right? Because the logic behind this fucking match was great. He kept doing things to make Gunther go for the chop, and then he'd duck it, and then he'd roll, and he moved out of the ring, and he was just so smart. Like, man, that guy is fucking good. Like, so yeah, we were spoiled in this main event. This was one of the best main events I've seen in a really long time. And to me, both of these guys are guys who you can build around. They're both durable. They're both extremely technically sound. They don't injure people, but they make every fucking match look great. So, I mean, hats off to these guys for this. This was great.
They should have teamed up Gable, and I forgot to mention this before when you were talking about with him and Jason Jordan. Him and Shelton Benjamin as the new world's greatest tag team would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. But you're right. He needs to get away from Otis. I've been saying that for a long time too, even though I think Gable, you can feed him all sorts of chicken shit. He turns it into chicken salad these days. And, you know, as far as, you know, there was rumors that he was going to get a push, a meaningful push. Seems like those rumors were true. I just want him to get that big victory over Gunther, you know, third time lucky. If that happens, or fourth time lucky maybe at this point, it would be huge, and it straight away elevates him, bro. And it doesn't do anything to Gunther, in my opinion.
At this point, Gunther can take a loss, and you can even have it beat by some shenanigans or something. You can have one of the Imperium guys turn on him or something to set something up. Or, I mean, obviously, I would rather it be somebody more important so that he could have something like real to sink his teeth into. Because I feel like Gunther is, without a doubt, world title level. Like, I mean, the fact that you've got Seth Rollins holding that World Heavyweight Championship and not Gunther is upsetting to me just hearing it. Yeah, I don't particularly want to see Gunther lose a clean match to Gable, but you can do something to try to elevate him in a loss and move him into something bigger and better. But that's what needs to happen. He can't just lose a clean match and just start back over from the bottom. I wouldn't want to see that. As much as I like Chad Gable, I wouldn't sacrifice Gunther for Gable. But having Gable be the Intercontinental Champion moving forward and have him have matches like that on a regular, consistent basis on Monday Night Raw, yes, please.
Yes, please, indeed. Could it be a thing where maybe Gunther just gives up his Intercontinental Championship, you know, because, you know, he's got bigger fish to fry and moves on to a World Championship?
I legitimately thought that, like, that, and I still think that that's probably the best way to book Gunther moving forward, is you have him hold the Intercontinental Championship right till the Rumble. He comes in at number 1 again, but this time he wins the Royal Rumble. And then after the Royal Rumble, he just says, listen, I have bigger things to do, and I'm going to put this up for, grabs in a tournament. The tournament can finish at WrestleMania, and you can have a brand new Intercontinental Champion crowned at WrestleMania, which is a cool moment for somebody. And you can have him just move on. But that's a long time from now. I also think that you could have done it with him as the Mr. Money in the Bank. But I think he's already, you know, they usually try to give that Mr. Money in the Bank contract to somebody who they're not totally sure is ready for the world title.
They're
right?
testing waters to see how he'd be, you know.
Exactly.
Received.
Damian Priest, if Damian Priest wins the championship, he can hold it for 2 weeks and lose it again, and everybody would be able to go, not sure, you know, maybe he's world champion material, maybe he's not, etc. Gunther is already made at that level. Like, without the title, he's already at that level. He's already made. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But you could just have a situation where at Survivor Series, you can have Gunther just challenge Seth and just say, fuck it, I want that world title, give me a title shot, and just have him win and then give up the Intercontinental Championship the next night. There's lots of different ways you could do it with him, but yeah, absolutely, that guy's a guy to build your future around. And Chad Gable, once again, proves himself a really fantastic little worker. So,
little
good
worker.
for them.
That's very cute. He's a great little worker. I know.
He
It
is
what it is.
But like, well, what I mean is, like, I can see
I know what
Gunther
you
as a world champion. I can't see
Right.
Chad Gable as a world champion. And that's not because I don't like Chad Gable, but very few people of that stature are going to be good enough to be world champion. And Chad Gable isn't Bryan Danielson. For all of what I love about Chad Gable, and it's a lot, he's not Bryan Danielson.
Well, the fans, once Raw went off the air, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter and whatnot, on social media, but it was everywhere. The whole fans got up, all the fans, you know, you see his kids crying, poor girls. And they're all just...
Is that who that was? I thought
that was
I
his
thought the
kids,
Young
bro.
Bucks
Yeah.
had bought front row tickets. That's crazy. Okay, that was his daughters. All right. That was his little daughters. I thought it was the Young Bucks in the front row. My apologies.
Oh, no. Anyway, that threw me off, Chris. You just threw me off. I was meant to say something, now I forgot.
The crowd gave him a standing. They gave him a standing O at the end, and they did the shush. Or,
Yeah, thank you. The whole place did the whole. Thank you. That was pretty cool. I'll say that. That's pretty funny. The whole place literally. Thank you. Liz says in the chat, I don't want to see Walter lose to Gable. I wouldn't be mad at it eventually. You need to lose to someone. She also says he's phenomenal. Seeing him go through one to the end in the Rumble was freaking amazeballs.
Yes.
The Comment King says Gunther is one of the few people in the business today that makes it worth watching something for 3 hours.
Yep.
No doubt. And he also thinks he's the greatest IC champion of all time. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Do you agree with that?
No. I think this might be the greatest Intercontinental Championship reign of all time, but I don't think that makes him the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I think that a guy like Mr. Perfect, who is a multiple-time Intercontinental Champion and had a number of great runs, could probably make a better argument to it.
Right.
Even Bret Hart was a really fantastic Intercontinental Champion. Again, 3-time, I think, Intercontinental Champion. You got to bring up guys like Roddy Piper. You have to bring up The Miz. Even is, I mean, you have to mention The Miz, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit. There's a bunch of guys who were really, really great Intercontinental Champions, but didn't do it in one reign. This might be I think this is unquestionably the greatest single reign as an Intercontinental Champion ever. Yeah.
But you are right. When I look at the Intercontinental belt, I do think of Mr. Perfect for some reason, and I can't disagree with what you said. I think Perfect, arguably, is the best Intercontinental Champion, but the greatest run is definitely Gunther, Walter, whatever you want to call him. But before we do start heading home,
man, if what I'm hearing is true,
what?
Poor Walter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what the fuck is with that shit, dude? What's with that meme?
Oh, you don't get that? So when Walter was getting called up, like some people knew that he was going to get his name changed to Gunther, right?
Yeah,
and people were like, this is stupid. And Keith Lee tweeted, if what I'm hearing is correct, man, poor Walter. And
and then it becomes a bear cat.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Wow. You became the Bearcat, and now you're in AEW doing absolutely fucking sweet fuck all. And Gunther, by the way, is now having the greatest run of an Intercontinental Champion probably of all time. So
I was mad at that at first too, but you know what? I kind of like the Gunther name.
So was I. I'm German, and I think Gunther's a stupid fucking name.
But you know what? He's kind of made it into his own. I don't think it's as bad as, you know, people make it out to be. You know, Walter was great, but Gunther's maybe better, man, in some ways. But anyway, Chris Whelan said earlier, which I forgot to answer, says, can anyone explain why the tag team title bouts are still combined? Anyone?
Bueller?
Yeah. Well, you've asked this question before, Chris, and no, we can't tell you why it's still not unified yet. I just don't think they know how to do it yet. Until then, I have no idea, bro, what you do and how you do it, but they got to do it eventually, surely. Also, Medium 5 says, I don't know why Walter knew of name change. Walter even said, call me Gunter. Walter even said again, I like it as his new chapter for him, an advancement. Yeah, he did say he likes it, and he understands why they changed his name. They just should have done it at the start when he first signed. He should have been Gunter, I think, instead of Walter. But anyway, it is what it is. And Todd says because WWE. Well, anyway, Chris, let's take it home, dude. I think we did a good enough time for a 3-hour show. Usually we go over 2 hours with Raw, but I think it's appropriate that we end it here. So, Chris, before we say where to find us, what would you give this show between an A and an F?
I give this a B plus, to be honest with you. This was. I mean, and again, like, keep in mind this is Raw. This is a 3-hour fucking program we're talking about. I think B plus is appropriate. I think that there was a number of things on this show that I liked. I got to see a bunch of the people that I like wrestle. And we got a main event that was absolutely worthy of like praise, like real praise. I think the last time I saw a wrestling match that was this good, it was Jay White and Juice Robinson versus FTR. This is that good. It's in the same caliber, and great story told. And again, if you could convince me to watch Raw based on one fucking thing, which is exactly what happened, then you did a really good job tonight. So yeah, B plus. It's just below an A mark because it's a fucking 3-hour show, and there's no way you can fit in a really awesome 3-hour show. I mean, hey, take it as a challenge, WWE. If you can, I'll be here for it. But yeah, it's a B plus for me. I really, really like this show.
I would say B minus because there's too much like promos, which I'm not angry about, but like it just felt like an overload of promos. But in saying that, it is 3 hours and you need to fill in a lot of time. But yeah, I'd say a B minus. I just felt like there wasn't enough matches. You'd buy that for $1, wouldn't you, Todd? She definitely won the $1 for getting beat up the way she did too, as a matter of fact.
Canadian.
She is, actually. She is very much Canadian. Anyway, yeah, so B minus for me. And yeah, but it was a good show, man, as a matter of fact, and hopefully they continue because hopefully SmackDown's going to be good. I have a feeling that Raw might be the better show this week, Chris.
I feel like you might be right. I just finished it. Again, it's Thursday, so I just finished watching Dynamite and taking notes and everything for it, and not a good show. And I'm not expecting anything from AEW to be terribly good moving forward, other than the 15 minutes or so that I'm going to see Jay White on Saturdays.
I can't believe you say that, bro. I love it. I love that you're saying that.
I mean, hey, I am nothing if not consistent in my openness to be wrong. And I'm wrong. Jay White is a absolutely fantastic professional wrestler. I still think he shouldn't have gone 15 minutes with fucking Commander on his debut, but he's great.
Absolutely, he's great. Well, Chris, tell them where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Chris Ambs 1. You can go there to see everything I have to say about pro wrestling, politics, and whatever the hell else I have to say. You can find me right here on the PWC Network. Obviously, we're doing this. We're doing Monday Night Machismo right now. You guys are all here. You're listening. You're following along, and you're commenting. So thank you for that. Soon here, not tonight because it's already fucking near 11 and I'm tired, but soon here, probably tomorrow we'll do tomorrow we'll do the skirmish, and we'll get Dynamite out of the way, and then you can find everything, with the HMG and channelattitude.com, where hey, we're the weekend crew, man. We're in for the Friday night show. We do Smack Attack. We do Rampage Uncaged, and of course, the thing that makes me proudest, the thing that I want to bring most people to, because I am a selfish prick and because it's my show, Sunday mornings, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. After the collision, we sift through
the wreckage.
And I'm expecting a whole lot more wreckage to be sifting through over the next little bit here, considering the firing of CM Punk basically took away their biggest star, and their latest ratings were below Rampage.
That's crazy.
Rampage. So
let that sink in for a moment. Below Rampage. That is fucking weird, dude. I can't get over that. But what I do want to ask you before we go home, are you happy that possibly Bryan Danielson could be the new face of Collision? And when I say that, also could be the booker of Collision.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take Bryan Danielson as the booker. Absolutely. Or Samoa Joe would be a good decision. Jay White would be a good decision. There's
Orange
a number
Cassidy.
of people. No, Jimmy.
I'm joking.
I hate you for even bringing that up. As a matter of fact, I quit the PWC because of that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, listen, there's a bunch of guys in that company who could run a really good show. I think that Mark Henry should be the fucking heavy back there. I really do. Like, that should be the end of it.
Wasn't he signed to AEW?
Yeah, I mean, he still does. He still does the fucking Rampage stuff where he does it.
Fuck. What's wrong with me? Of course, right. The hell, dude.
That's not a good fucking position for Mark Henry, but being the heavy backstage to be like, no, you're not doing real glass. We're not talking about it. Go back to your fucking locker room and figure something else out.
Figure your shit out, for sure, man. Anyway, did you tell them where they can find you, by the way, Chris?
I told them where they could find me.
Okay,
yes.
All right. Well, if you want to find me on the X, the Twitter, whatever the name is, you can at DJ MassifX. You can also find us at the PWC Network. Please like and subscribe at channelattitude.com, where for $5 you get the best talk in wrestling. As Chris said, look out for Uncaged this week, the Smack Attack, and after the collision, we sift through
the wreckage.
I love that because we got a catchphrase. I was trying to find a catchphrase for Uncaged, so it's uncensored, unhinged, uncaged.
I like that.
This week. Yeah, you like that? I mean, where have I heard that before? But anyway, also like and subscribe at hummingmediagroup.podbean.com, where you can find our affiliate shows. And most importantly, right now, right here at the PWC Network.podbean.com, where you can find all our other shows, including this one. And that's a wrap, Chris. So in saying that, I am Jimmy T. That is Chris Ambs. And you've been listening and watching the PWC Monday Night Machismo right here on the PWC Network. I thank you. And thank you to everyone in the chat for joining us. Peace.
Olay!
Olay. And we'll see you for the skirmish tomorrow. See yous.
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.